Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of The Daily Sip. Hope you had a great weekend and got to recharge and have some fun, and hopefully not too much crazy fun with all the pubs as they opened up on the weekend. Some crazy scenes going on in the news. Today, we're back to really one of my favorite topics, entrepreneurship and disability. We've got a guest who's returning, Hardeep, who you remember from around 3 to 4 weeks ago. And really struck a chord with the viewers and got a lot of views with Hardeep's interview. And today we're going to be focusing on with Shane Bratby and hearing from Shane about his serial entrepreneur journey and the highs, the lows, and all the bits in between. And Hardeep's going to be sort of just bringing some insights and stories as we go along to just share what Shane's been up to and the dynamic at Kaleidoscope Investments and the co-founding partnership that they both have there. So I'll firstly just quickly say hi, Hardeep.
Hi, Martin. Nice to see you again, sir.
Yeah. And welcome, Shane. It's great to have you on the show, mate.
Yeah, it's thrilled to be here. I've read a lot about you.
Well, likewise. We were saying we've
met a few times, haven't we?
Absolutely. We bumped into each other at NADEX a couple of times and sort of in the corridors, through all the craziness that is NADEX. But we've been trying to have a proper meeting and a chat and sharing our war stories of entrepreneurship for a while. So it's great that we get to do it today, and great that we've got the viewers to join us. So are you all right, Shane, just to kick off with a little introduction of sort of, broadly what your kind of elevator pitch or elevator summary is of what you're up to at the moment?
Yeah. I'm at the moment I'm doing a disabled entrepreneurship member club.
Yeah.
And that includes everything that's on the disabled entrepreneurs page, and try and make you a success story. That's our way. But success is in yourself and not, you only can be successful if you think you're successful.
Yeah, it's a lot of sort of personal development support, but around people being empowered through their own businesses. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be offering a lot of support. There'll be training videos. There'll be a team manager to push you and tell you to get to work and make some money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we all need. We all need this push. There'll be live videos where questions and chats and messages.
Yeah, real community vibe.
What our aim will be to share contacts and to share training with the program what we use, and we try to evaluate it. Is the word evaluate?
Emulate, maybe.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, so as Hardeep says, we'll try to make you successful and hopefully earn money.
Brilliant. Well, I get your email, Shane.
From the comfort of your own.
Which is very useful at the moment with the COVID-19 world as well, right?
Yeah, we've had the COVID-19 going on. I think more people believing that working from home is the best thing in 2020.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was just saying, I get all your emails, and there's so much, depth and breadth there of information around marketing and different business models. And I know you've got some merch, haven't you? Some swag for the community as well. And it's, just a nice community vibe you've got going. So congratulations with that. I guess it'd be great to sort of go back a bit in time. As we said at the beginning, we're going to hear some of your entrepreneurship war stories. How did you get into entrepreneurship? Where does your sort of superhero story begin?
Well, it all began from school, actually. I went to a disabled special school, and at that time, I don't know if they do now, but they didn't have qualifications. And I was 16. I was expecting GCSEs and all that. But they didn't do them at that school. I thought that was very unfair at that time. And so I realised that the only way to make something in my life is to make myself in life, make a success from on my own without going to school, because I knew that I need qualifications to get a good job, but that wasn't going to happen. So I started to think about going into self-employment because I did a school tuck shop, and I started branching out into other schools around us, and I really did enjoy that, and so I realised from then, from I was about 15, 16, I realised that business was my future. So that's the line I went down through business. I went into business.
Right. And that I think there's a lot of, I don't know about you, Shane, but I love reading the sort of memoirs and biographies of successful, famous entrepreneurs, not necessarily disabled entrepreneurs, but as well, but in general, the entrepreneurship world. And you hear that quite a lot, that the mainstream education and even the sort of mainstream world of work didn't quite fit for their passions and their skills and their preferences, really, and they created a job for themselves. And I'm sort of hearing that that's what first got you into entrepreneurship, was to create employment for yourself under your own terms, right?
You've got mail.
And with no qualifications and knowing that my school won the world, that I basically wanted to show my teachers that I can do something in life,
Yeah.
And
so what was your first business idea then?
Because they don't have many qualifications in disabled school. I don't know if it's changed now. Do you know if it's changed? No, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. Well, it should have changed. There should be qualifications down there.
Sure, yeah, but in terms of like the business side of things, what was your first actual? Because I understand why you went into self-employment because of the difficulty with the qualifications. But what was your first business that you started for yourself?
Yeah, well, my first business was shopping for you, and that was a charity. And that one focused on, at the time, computers were quite fairly new, and there were a lot of elderly people who couldn't get to shops. So at that time, I knew about computers, so I opened this website to do shopping for people, elderly people, online, and get it delivered to them. So they'll give me the shopping list. I will post it. You usually post it, and then I order it online. And I teamed up with Sainsbury's with them, teamed up with Sainsbury's, and so the customer gives me the shopping list. I'll order it online with Sainsbury's, and they'll deliver the shopping direct to their door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
As always, it's taking a problem and then finding the solution and turning it into a business model, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did think that because technology will get more popular, shopping for you will soon to exist. So I thought about that, about closing that, and started something else.
So what did you do after that one then?
What?
Did you say you closed it because the market changed? Did I understand that right? That sort of there wasn't the same need for it after some time passed, yeah?
Yeah. So so shopping for you closed down. So I then went on to open mobility by and I had a shop with mobility by, and I was trading in Doncaster, but first I opened a market store before then. I tested the water, and then I opened the mobility shop. What I wanted to do with mobility by is sell every mobility service and disabled product under one roof. So every mobility thing, I wanted to be the main base of mobility.
Yeah, it's like a mobility marketplace.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. You touched briefly on obviously the shopping for you, and now with the mobility marketplace, sort of you sort of say it very casually that started the second company and solved the problem, but I think the entrepreneurs watching will know it. You know, it takes a while, doesn't it, to validate the market. Like you said, you tested it offline first to see if people are interested, and also the sort of funding and resources to start up. I mean, how did you manage to create the website, for example? Are you able to code, or did you have to bring in a partner or pay someone to do that?
Yeah, I found that it's always best to learn yourself. If you need a website, learn yourself.
Yeah.
You need whatever, learn it yourself. So, I mean, I always did that. I learned most things myself.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing, though. So just you're always learning and upskilling depending what the business is needed, right?
Yeah, I mean, I learned my stuff thing myself because with school and that, I didn't have much faith in learning at school. So I believe that you learn yourself whatever you're interested in, learn yourself. I mean, why spend years learning something in the school? And I'm just a bit funny about it, but I've been.
So how did the mobility marketplace business go then? How is that still running now, or did that stop at some point?
No, we closed the market store because we moved to a shop, and because the market store went good, and so then we moved to a shop, and I mean, it was difficult because we had to move all the equipment, all the products over. But we finally got there. Plus, the best thing was it was warm in the shop were warmer because in market stores it can get really cold.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. So was it better in the shop then?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
cool. And we've mentioned a few times in this chat about war stories and the journey of entrepreneurship. I mean, already you've talked about from the challenges of education into the two businesses you mentioned so far, and I'm sure there's some other stories as well to come. But how have you found the mental health side with being an entrepreneur and not having a regular salary and having to be responsible for other people and other costs as well? How have you found those pressures?
I think I find them as keep me alive. Otherwise, if I didn't do this, I don't know what else I'll be doing. So if I didn't know entrepreneurship, I don't know what else I do. I mean, usually my daily routine is get out of bed, get over to here, do my work, and then go back to bed and the same again.
Right.
It's
a grind, isn't it?
Yeah, working keeps me alive, and I don't think about my problems when I'm working. From things like that. So
Okay.
I don't think about them. And I mean, the reason why I left my shop as well is that I got attacked in my shop. I got petrol thrown over me, and
oh wow,
were quite horrific.
Sure.
And they wanted the money out of my safe. I think it was some drug use, I think, and because they were quite thin and skinny and bony.
Right.
But yeah, I wanted money out my safe, and it only got about £60. But it was a really bad experience for me. He come in, he thrown petrol over me. He wafted the light around my face, threatening to light me. And I had to give the keys for my safe. And he only got about £60 Michael.
That's horrific, though.
It wasn't worth it.
No. God, that's awful. When was that? When did that happen? When did that happen, Shane?
That happened in 2010.
In 2010, God.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, you got through it, and you've obviously been doing lots of new and great things since that, which is great that you could come back from such a horrific incident. So, I mean, moving towards Kaleidoscope and knowing Hardy, is there anything else that you wanted to sort of mention through the businesses and the story before connecting with Hardy?
Shane, were there any other businesses? So after Mobility Buy, before we met, were there any other businesses that you wanted to talk to Martin about?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'll say I have records that I enjoyed that. That wasn't business for me, but I enjoyed it. I found a rapper online and got him to do me a ringtone. It was actually through Facebook, I think, and he did me a ringtone. I said, I like this, and I realized afterward though the modern music nowadays you can't sing to it. Like I can't keep up with modern music. I can't sing. It might be because I'm getting old. I don't know, but
I know that feeling, mate.
yeah. So I wanted some kind of music. What were modern, what were new, but you can sing to it.
Mm.
Anyway, I found a rapper and wanted to make some emotional rap music with him.
Mm.
He lived in America, and I said, I'll take you to a studio in America, in Las Vegas, and we met up in Vegas. And we went to the recording studio, and I enjoyed that. And we recorded his music, and I got him some contacts and that while I was in because I made some flyers and banners, and I went into because Vegas is all about entertainment, and so it was quite easy to do. So we went to see entertainment managers around the hotels, and we gave them some soundtracks, a CD what we recorded. Gave them some flyers, and they ended up calling us back.
Wow.
With some gigs. So
wow.
I was really great. And
Can I interject at this point, Martin? Because
Sure.
I mentioned about funny stories, right?
Yeah.
Shane's kind of soiree into the music industry happened about a year after he and I met.
Okay.
And you heard of this phrase KMR, key man risk, right? In any business.
Right.
When Shane first told me he was going to Vegas, I was like, Shane, you're not going to Vegas, man. And he's like, no, I'm going to Vegas. I found this rapper, and I did everything I could to try and convince him not to go.
Yeah.
And he did everything he could do to try and convince me to go, right?
Yeah.
So in the end, he went by himself. I mean, this is the phenomenal thing about Shane, is his spirit of adventure is on another level. And when he speaks earlier about learning to do things himself, he literally is a Mr. DIY. He will do it himself. And he went by himself, and he was telling me all these really scary incidences that were happening when he was getting off the plane, getting into the hotel. And the funniest picture I've got of you, Shane, is when he's sitting on this huge round sofa, with the wrapper blinged up in gold, and Shane sitting there like this. And I was like, this is a photo we have to circulate on social media. It was incredible, but he did it. He went for 10 days, Shane, or 2 weeks? I can't remember now. But every single day that he was away, Martin, I was so nervous because you just on your own, you know what I mean? That spirit of adventure. But he did it. He came back. He had some close shaves, but this is Shane all over, and to come back from that incident that he said, I mean, to just imagine for a moment, right? Just imagine being in a shop, having petrol poured on you, okay? Petrol poured, and being with
a lighter,
Shane has relayed this story in quite a few conferences that we've had, and there are literally people in the audience that are tearful when they hear him say it. Because depending on Shane, he sometimes imagine getting emotional over a story like that. But as you said, Martin, for him to bounce back from something like that, that is resilience on a level that most of us couldn't even begin to imagine, right? And then a few years later to jump on a plane by himself to go to Vegas. So I'm almost having to sort of contain Shane, from some of the things he does. But that Vegas was one of the most amazing stories, wasn't it, Shane?
Yeah. One of the worst things was going on the plane when you're on the plane, because it's 11-hour flight, I think, and it's peeing. you need a pee, Getting to toilet was very bad. I didn't take that into thought about getting to the toilet because it's very narrow as well. So, and it was very difficult. So, well, at the end, I had to pee in a cup. Like, they brought me a cup over.
Yeah, I was have to say, Shane, so I went to Australia. I have to have a care team, but it was independent in my way of needing people to do a lot for me. But it was like without friends and family, and there was a lot of antics on that Australia trip. And then I went with Shrin, the co-founder of Horizons and Accomable. We went to San Francisco, Vegas, and Los Angeles, and so I can totally relate to the craziness in that place that you went through. And it sounds like one of those definitely for the movie when it gets made about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. So how did you two meet? I don't know if who wants to go first, but yeah, how did you two come to collide in this world of disability and entrepreneurship?
Yeah, well, I went to a conference, began at a conference. I went to with Unlimited, I think it was. I think they've closed now, but no, it wasn't Unlimited. It was an enterprise thing, a conference, an enterprise. Anyway, so I went to the network event. It was like networking event where we hear stories that was up in Birmingham. So I went there. I met the only disabled person who I've seen at a business event, and that was Tom Smith.
Okay.
I think he's been on. I think he has. Yeah, Dom.
Is that Dom?
Dom Smith.
Dom Smith. The name doesn't ring a bell. He might have been on Disability Horizons, maybe.
Yes, he owns Southfield magazine.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm sure he's been on. I met him at this networking event, and I said, wouldn't it be good? I mean, I don't see disabled people anywhere in business. Wouldn't it be good having something to do with disabled people, getting them into business, getting them into networking events? Anyway, that's how it all started, Disabled Entrepreneurs. And then then I went away. Then the website was up. We lost the website. We got off. Dom's been off and on quite a lot with the website. We got the website up. We won a grant with Unlimited.
Oh yeah, Limited. Yeah, they're fantastic, aren't they, for that?
Yeah. And they gave us the support and the encouragement because winning that grant was like, yeah, we believe in it. So that's what made us, carry on.
Yeah.
Because it gave us such aspect. What's that word? Is it such like aspect of something?
Sort of like the motivation, you mean, that to carry on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To carry on.
Sure.
We did. We carried on. It gave us great power to carry on with disabled entrepreneurs, and we believed in it a lot more. So that's how it started. That's the beginning. And then obviously we went to we did a lot of speaking at schools.
Yeah, sort of raising awareness.
Yeah, disabled schools. Kingswood down in London, the world one in Scotland.
Okay, brilliant.
They're all over.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed that. And what we did was, we went there. Me and Don went there. I brought them my mobility catalogues of the products I sell. And we gave them out. We gave the catalogues out. There were about 1,000 products. We split the students into groups, and we said we asked them to design a mobility product. Here's the catalog for ideas. And then they had to write them down, and we're kind of like a dragon's den. And they had to draw the product, write them down. Then they also had to write how they would sell the product. So where would they go? So they had to think of things like that, books and magazines, press releases. We all had to consider things like that. Then they had to pitch them to us.
Brilliant.
We had some teachers. We have some teachers on. So anyway, so they pitched them to us. Some amazing ideas, and what could get popular. I believe that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Heidi, before I oh sorry, Shane, go on, finish.
I thought that there was that great ideas, and that I would really recommend it. Well, I was asking them, because teachers did say that they'll see if there's an investment, what they can raise as a fund to invest. So, yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
And by talking, by speaking, and that can make a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in disabled schools. It's like because you're speaking about your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah.
And then, to others, then it might learn them and think, yeah, being disabled and being an entrepreneur is another way. So, that's
showing what's possible, isn't it? A role model. Yeah. Thank you, Shane. That's really, really interesting. Yeah, I was just going to say, Heidi, I'm going to come to you in a second of the sort of how you met Shane and what's impressed, you about Shane's story and why you're business partners. I'm just going to go to a few comments before we do that. So Angel was saying, hello, lovely people. So, hello, Angel. We've got Mark saying, hello, Shane and Heidi, who I think you both know Mark. Ben saying, hello, guys, very interested in this topic. And on LinkedIn, sorry, Heidi, you're going to be disappeared for a second. But Julie saying, as a Black disabled woman entrepreneur, I don't feel there is enough support from the disability movement or government to develop our initiatives. I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 17. Since then, I've developed 4 national initiatives, and I'm currently developing a global program. It'd be great to have an interview with you. So from my perspective, Julie, let's connect. I'd love to get you on the show, but it's actually quite the space that you're both in. So it's probably great for you both to connect with Julie and to support each other. But I know, obviously, as we spoke about, Hardeep, Kaleidoscope's doing a lot to address this and raise awareness. But yeah, it'd just be great to hear a few words from you, Hardeep, on to how you've met Shane and what you're both up to.
Sure. Well, I think the first thing about Shane that has always really impressed me is his tenacity and the fact that he doesn't give up. And you've seen from the emails that he sends, they're relentless, and that's brilliant quality to have when you are an entrepreneur. So he did contact me a few times, and we ended up meeting. You came to London, didn't you, Shane? And we had that dinner in this hotel. We had an Indian curry, and that's when Shane first started telling me about disabled entrepreneurs and what he'd built. Because in those days, Shane, I think we had a database of over 25,000 people, Martin, throughout the UK that wanted to start businesses. 25,000. And when he helped me to understand, the difficulties they were facing with raising investment, with my background in financial services, I thought this is a bit of a no-brainer. If I bring my experience in raising money in entrepreneurship together with Shane's experience, and we can create Kaleidoscope, and that's exactly what we did. And Shane and I, we always kind of have this friendly banter about who the real founder of Kaleidoscope was. He says he was, and I say I was, and then in the end, we agreed, very natural, But it was, to be honest with you, Martin, it was almost like a match made in heaven, because on the one hand, you had me with the kind of city background, and on the other hand, you had Shane with the expertise of the market that we were trying to go into. So it worked extremely well. And I remember being at NatWest. I mentioned NatWest were one of our sponsors and have been. We had that breakfast meeting, didn't we, Shane? And it was sort of on the 18th or 19th floor. And Shane and I went to the window at the very end, and we were overlooking the city of London. And Shane said to me, Hardeep, one day my dream is that we're going to be doing more with NatWest and more with conferences. Do you remember that, Shane? You sort of said that. And that dream came true later that year, Martin, when we held our first conference. And I think what Shane does for me, as well as my little son Ishan, of course, is he inspires me to continue to think in a different way. And this is the real value in having business partners when you are in a business, because, if I come up against a brick wall, I'll go to Shane. And the one thing I've learned is never assume that he won't have an answer, or anyone won't have an answer, because it will come up with something. And Shane will come up with something completely left wing that is a really good idea that, other people in the team may not have thought about. And then you think, right, brilliant, that's how I'm going to go forward. And likewise with him, he'll come to me with different ideas and different questions, and we really, really complement each other, and we have different working styles. So Shane tends to work through the night, and I'll get emails at 3 or 4 in the morning, and then he'll go off the radar for 2 to 3 days, right? But then the same is true for me. So I think what happens is we find our own balance, and we work very well within that balance. And and I think the other thing about this feels like kind of a this is your life for Shane's story here. But the other thing that I found with Shane is that when he has an idea, the risk with Shane, this is the risk, is that he'll just go off and do something about it. And you're like, this is the point about focus, because he's got the ability to develop his own websites and create his own marketing. You've got a phone call there, Shane. Are you right there, Shane?
Yeah, I'm just turning phone off.
Okay, great. Because he's got the ability to develop his own website, Martin, and his own marketing and create his own audience, you can build a business idea within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. And he's telling me, Hardy, by the way, is in addition to Kai and in addition to disabled entrepreneurs, I've also built up this thing called Recognition Day. And before I know it, there's a website, and he's spoken to, the mayor of Doncaster, to launch this new process. Exactly exactly, Mark. I was just
Yeah, I was gonna
recognition
say.
day. That's a funny thing. Shane, I was going to say you should mention something about Recognition Day, because that was a phenomenal achievement in terms of what you did over there. Shane, do you want to say a few words about that?
Yeah, thank you, Mark, for giving the heads up on that. Recognition Day was we ordered if you go to IBEAwards.co.uk if you want more information, that'd be brilliant. But we held two events, one in Doncaster, Doncaster Mansion House, and what we wanted to do is it to be a luxury event, a top class, a celebration. So we had a red carpet for people who do good things. So for others. So we wanted to award them. It could be the elderly person helping, someone helping the elderly person with carry bags across the road. So it could be something simple. It also could be someone who's passed away. So in the spirit. So say someone in World War II saved someone's life, and we can they can be awarded for that. Even though they're passed, so
that's really amazing. That's really cool.
For recognition, RD Award is, and it was really touching. We had seven categories, so you could choose between seven. We've got the nurse category, so if a nurse is very helpful in the hospital, they can be awarded for that. And what they'll get is a free meal and a plus one for free meal, and they would also get an award as well, and there'll be live entertainment at the end on that day.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And the other thing that Shane did really well, Martin, is he knew how to get the right people involved. So NatWest, again, very gratefully sponsored both of these two events for us. But Shane approached the mayors of both of those cities. Mayor, where was it, Shane? There was one in Doncaster, right?
Yeah, one in Sheffield.
Sheffield, that was it. So when Shane was sort of building this, Martin, I was thinking, okay, another sort of zany idea of Shane's, and before I knew it, he's got the mayor involved and the hotel involved and NatWest involved, and he sold 120 tickets, and I'm like, okay. And then he's like, Hardeep, can you help me to kind of compare? So when I went there, I went to both the events to support Shane, and they were exceptional, Martin. They really were, like these sort of charity ball type events, quite cozy, sort of 100 to 120 people. But I remember the one in Sheffield, Shane, the one that you just said about, where there was somebody that I think had passed. Martin, it was extremely emotional. Do you know what I mean? His whole family were there. They were up. They played a video of his life. They took it really, really seriously, And, it was an amazing thing Shane did that night. He got into the newspapers, and it was very special, actually. Yeah. And Shane has wanted to kind of roll this on and sort of almost turn it into a franchise and take it into different cities. But this is the other thing about being an entrepreneur, is that you can only do so much. Right? With Shane, and with disabled entrepreneurs now, we were just literally talking about this just before, is he's really turning it into more of an online business. So people that want to build businesses that are online, that's where he wants to support. And that's the beauty of the difference between disabled entrepreneurs and Kaleidoscope is much more about the investment and the mentoring that comes with the investment, whereas disabled entrepreneurs is much more about online and what you can do without investment. So how can people provide support and advice and guidance, without needing that investment? And that's a very nice compliment, because so much of the time Shane gets approached about something to do with disabled entrepreneurship and he'll bring it to Kai, or we get approached about something to do with online businesses and we bring it to Shane. So that's the other beauty of it, is that we work very symbiotically.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, guys, we're getting towards the end of our interview and our chat today. We've got sort of a question from Mark wrapped up with what I was going to ask as my last question. Is Mark saying, so Shane, what's next? and I'd also, within what's next, be nice to hear what your sort of parting thoughts are for disabled entrepreneurs, to really give them some inspiration and motivation before we close off. Does that sound like a good plan for the end, Shane?
It does, yeah. Well, I think what's next is after selling mobility bike, I sold mobility bike. I've still got a bit of money left. I hadn't used it all, which I thought I would, but I am. But yeah, I've got a tiny bit of money. I'm thinking of investing into a new business, but I don't know if I've got the time. I'm wanting to do a holiday care agency,
right?
For international care agency. For holidays. So people need a carer abroad. They don't have to. They can approach us, and we will look as a carer to go with them abroad. Because it's happened to me before. I wanted, like in Vegas, or when in Vegas, or when I spoke to someone in Chile, I needed a carer abroad, but I couldn't find that carer, so I ended up going on my own. So it was like that. So I'm thinking the idea is, if someone approaches me and if I were carer to go abroad, then I'll find that carer with a passport job to go abroad, and that obviously I'll charge the people the money, whatever it is, how much it is, then decided the price yet. But yeah, so, and that's the idea.
Do you sleep, Shane?
Yeah, can you relate?
Sorry?
Can you relate to that business model?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always a challenge getting care in general, but more so when you're abroad and need that support. So yeah, it definitely solves the need. I suppose there's the COVID-19 challenge at the moment, but you could be getting the ducks in a line while that's going on at the same time. But no, it's a solid idea. Yeah.
And if you do some research on that, I can't find any care agency what does carers abroad, or what go abroad with your passport. So I think it's a brilliant idea.
Cool. No, I think you're right. And I was saying, do you ever sleep, Shane? Have you got any hours to actually not be with new ideas and new businesses?
There was one idea of disabled taxis, but for disabled people, but I put that on hold. I managed to put it on hold.
Cool. Well, we're pretty much at the end. But Shane, just what would you advise other disabled entrepreneurs to do? Partly would be to sign up for your newsletter, I'm sure. But what motivational thoughts have you got for people that are looking to start their own business?
I think the most motivational I would say is do it simple, do it yourself.
Mm.
You know, do it yourself. You only can rely on yourself.
Cool.
Do it yourself. If you need to learn something, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Learn yourself.
It's good advice. Good advice. Thank you, Shane. And Hardeep, Dal on my Facebook is saying that could he jump on a call? He's got a business which needs funders and investment. So I'll leave you to connect over next steps and how that might work. But I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, both of you guys, it's been amazing to have you back on, Hardeep, and just to add that it's always very hard, isn't it, to talk about your own story and not be like humble as a virtue, but then also for people to really get, like with, for example, today with Shane, I think it was nice having you to sort of give that angle from your perspective as his co-founder. So thank you for that. And most of all, Shane, thank you for being on and sharing your journey and inspiring everybody, and good luck with all your many business ideas going forward as well.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. When everyone
Thank you, Martin, as well.
Thank you. Yeah, cheers, Hardy. Cool. Everyone watching, thanks for your comments and questions. And as always, you can follow up with Hardeep and Shane like Dal has with any questions afterwards. Feel free to connect. And I'll be back tomorrow for the next episode of the Daily Sip. And bye-bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.